All right, so week 2 NFL, crazy week 1, a lot of upsets, not a lot of defense. You had the Jets, the Buccaneers, and the Ravens combined for 147 points. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, the Falcons, and the Cardinals combined to score 26 points. So there you go. Moving to week 2. Get started on Thursday. Baltimore at Cincinnati. Ravens defense is good, but you put them in the rain against Buffalo, and they look historic. Cincinnati gets a nice win in Indy last week. Divisional game. This could go either way. I'm going to lean with the Bengals here. Just because I like what Joe Mixon, I think, is going to have a big year, but who knows. Moving on to Sunday, the early games. Got a lot of early games Sunday. We got Carolina and Atlanta. Atlanta gets a little bit of extra rest here. Carolina beats Dallas last week, but it's a costly win. They lose a couple guys. Olsen, Kuechly went out. They lost a lineman, so. And Atlanta's, they've got that extra time, and they need to win. I'll take Atlanta here, but probably because I'm going to trade for Devonta Freeman in one of my leagues, so I'll have a vested interest there. Chargers get to wake up early, go to Buffalo in one of the other early games. Wasn't this a game last year where Peterman threw like 9 interceptions and the Chargers scored like 87 points or something ridiculous? Chargers still look good. I think that they got hit in the mouth with Tariq Hill early twice last week, and then they got themselves out of that game. But I think the Chargers will still be a good team this year. I think they should win the AFC West. And I don't know, Buffalo. Maybe Josh Allen shows you something now that they're going to throw him in there. But Chargers will win this game. You got Minnesota at Green Bay, but Aaron Rodgers, what a ball player. And let me just say this. The second the guy came back in the game, you knew they were going to win the game. Bears could have been up 40 points. Wait a minute, Aaron Rodgers would find a way to come back. Well, how's he going to come back from 40 points? He would have come back from 40 points because he's Aaron Rodgers. But you got to ask yourself, you think obviously he hurt his knee, so he was obviously hurt. But you think when he was in the tent, he probably said to himself, you know what? Why don't you drive me off on the cart? I'll chill till halftime. Everyone will start freaking out. The Bears will take the foot off the gas, and then I'll come back at halftime and take care of business. Collinsworth compared it to Willis Reed, from the finals back from yesteryear, but. The accurate comparison is Paul Pierce, 2008 NBA Finals, Game 1 against the Lakers. He goes out on a wheelchair at halftime. Everyone thinks he's out, and sees the series is over, and then he's back in the second half. So Paul Pierce didn't need the wheelchair. Aaron Rodgers didn't need the car. They do it for show. But you know what? He's a great showman, so good for him. If he's healthy, again, Minnesota's just... They'll find a way to lose this game, even though they're supposed to be good. So unless I hear something else about Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay is going to win this game. Houston at Tennessee. The loser of this game is in a nice early 0-2 hole. Deshaun Watson needs to step up a game there because I got him in 2 of my leagues. So, Tennessee, they played a 7-hour game in Miami last week. I don't know what happened there. I actually somehow didn't even watch any of that game, but this is a divisional game. Go either way. I think Tennessee wins the game, but I need a big week from Deshaun Watson to score some points. Cleveland at New Orleans. New Orleans surprised everyone really last week with their shitty defense and making Ryan Fitzpatrick look like your 2018 NFL MVP. And the Browns, they didn't lose last week, so for the first time since Christmas Eve of 2016. So Cleveland might be a nice story this year, but in fact, let's see. Last time Yeah, it was. Yeah, the last time they went into New Orleans, they actually won. And I only remember that because I think they ran like a fake punt, and I think that was the year they had Peyton Hillis. He was running wild. And the only reason I remember the last time Cleveland played New Orleans is I think I picked New Orleans in the survivor pool that week, and I got knocked out. So, but New Orleans will win this week. They get this thing back rolling the right way. Miami at the Jets. Sammy Donald. Looking like the real thing, minus the first pass, of course. But you know, here's the thing with the Jets. Okay, every time the Jets get you a little bit excited, they go and they blow it. And in particular when they play Miami, when it seems like, oh well, they should beat Miami. Like this week, even though Miami won last week, it's like, who's on Miami? Well, Jet fans are probably thinking to themselves, we should beat the Dolphins, but then when they get in these situations, they don't beat the Dolphins. But they'll beat them this week. I'm going to take the Jets this week. Kansas City at Pittsburgh. I tell you what, Le'Veon Bell, if he, this is going to be like the Zeke thing with the Cowboys last year, where the longer this goes on, Pittsburgh's just the whole locker room's not going to be right. They'll win a couple games here and there, but this is not how you win the Super Bowl with your star player holding out forever. And before anybody asked me about the '93 Cowboys, that was different. The '93 Cowboys were far superior than any other team that existed at that time. So, this year's Steelers are not, we're a good team, but they're not the best team in football. This is just going to be a stink over Pittsburgh this whole year. But I think they get the win this week. Mahomes will come back down to earth. He's not throwing 4 touchdowns every week. Philly at Tampa. I mean, Tampa 48 points last week. Philly, grinds out a defensive win. This is going to be a great fantasy game. I think. No matter who you have. I mean, going to the backups. I mean, if you got Corey Clement or you got Chris Godwin in this game, I think you start him. Get him in there if if you have to start him. But, I think you're gonna see a lot of secondary guys put up big numbers in this game. This will be a nice fantasy ball game. I want to pick Tampa, but Philly will probably win this game because Tampa's still young. They'll do something stupid at the end. Indianapolis at Washington. I don't know. I mean, I know I picked against the Redskins last week, but Arizona is, they're not that good. Washington get the home opener. Colts, I mean, geez, Redskins win, they're going to be 2-0. I mean, I don't know if I saw that coming, but I'm going to take the Colts. I can't, I'm not picking NFC East teams just yet. Well, I just picked Philly, but. Let's go to late games on Sunday. Arizona at the Rams. Boy, the Rams look good. I know the Raiders started off that game with a nice drive, and everyone was, Black Hole was going wild, but boy, the Rams look good. They look good. I mean, this if you got Rams defense, congratulations. David Johnson had a pedestrian week last week. Of course, the game script took him out of it. For most of it, but the Rams are going to win this game. The Rams will win this game. Detroit at San Francisco. The Lions, man. You start off a game with a pick six. Here's the thing: when you get a pick six on defense and you still only score like 9 points in fantasy, you know that you had a very bad game. And 49ers, they ran into a buzzsaw with the Vikings last week, and Goodwin got hurt, but they were able to move the ball. They just couldn't punch it in. They had some turnovers. Detroit might be in for a long year, but again, nice fantasy year as long as Stafford stays healthy for the Detroit receivers. I like Tate. I like Galladay. But 49, I'm going to take 49ers in this game. Oakland at Denver. I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. I mean, what was it, 2 years ago? I mean, Derek Carr looked like the real deal. They gave him all this money. They were putting up. I mean, they were scoring. I mean, I won a fantasy league championship with Derek Carr. The Raiders were talking about the Super Bowl, and of course, he blew out his knee, and maybe he's still lingering from that, but. and again, the Rams are a great defense. So, but I mean, he had some bad throws Monday night. I don't know. There's something's wrong there. I don't know what it is. Something like Amari Cooper. I don't know what he's doing, or why he's a highly ranked receiver. I mean the guy. They didn't even. Derek Carr didn't even look at him the whole game, and like guy, he was lining up, and it's not like he was lining up in one spot. It's not like he had Talib on him all night. Like they were playing him 15 yards off. He lined up in the slot. Like he was all over the field, and like Derek Carr didn't even look at him. So I don't know what's going on over there. Like Gruden needs to get his homework together. He's gonna be back in the Monday night before he knows it. I like Denver. They're gonna be a good team. Denver and the Chargers are gonna battle for the AFC West. I think the Chiefs will, they'll run into some growing pains with Mahomes, but I like what the Broncos are doing here. I like the two running backs, the two rookies that they're. Everybody's picking up Philip Lindsay this week. Denver will win this game. New England Jacksonville's the last Sunday late afternoon game, rematch of the AFC Championship game. I'm sure people in Jacksonville are going to be fired up, although let's be honest, there'll probably be more Patriot fans at this game. New England looked like they're off to a great start. Jaguars, Fournette went out, and they kind of half-assed it against the Giants, but you're able to do that against the Giants. But they'll be fired up for this game. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game. I think this is one of those, where they can get the Patriots early, and sometimes New England's vulnerable the first couple weeks of the season. I'm going to take Jacksonville this game. Sunday night, Giants and Cowboys. Here we go again with this shit. Loses 0-2. Cowboys got to do something with receiver here. Listen, Carolina's a great defense, so they had some trouble, and basically the first three quarters, the Cowboys look like no one practiced like the whole preseason. Like I know they want to rest guys and they want to get anybody get hurt, but like it looked like they hadn't practiced. I don't know what they did for 2 months of training camp, but obviously I'm gonna take the Cowboys to win this game. I think Barkley had a decent game. Beckham had a big game, but. I don't know what else I'm supposed to get excited about with the Giants other than Barkley and Beckham, but again, I'm totally biased here, so of course I'm gonna pick the Cowboys. And then Monday night we got Seattle and Chicago. Man, I tell you what, that first half, Khalil Mack looked like he was just gonna rip everybody up this whole year. I mean. If you're the Raiders, you go, why didn't we sign that guy? Maybe we should have threw some money at that guy. That Khalil Mack was a monster in Green Bay. It looked like for a moment he had single-handedly ruined Green Bay's season. He had the sack, fumble, touchdown, and he knocked Rodgers out, and I thought Rodgers was done for the year. The Bears' offense was clicking again. I like they're going to get better on offense. The Bears. They just they're a young team, and they got lit up by Aaron Rodgers when the game was on the line. But I'm gonna take the Bears to win this game. Seattle's down Doug Baldwin. I don't know who Russell Wilson's throwing to this week, but this will be a good fantasy game again. A lot of good players for fantasy here. But I'm gonna take the Bears to win, and I didn't do a Super Bowl pick last week. Obviously, I'm gonna pick the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl because I'm a huge homer. But AFC, I think the Chargers got hit in the mouth early in that first week, and they kind of stumbled the rest of the way. But I'm gonna take the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl this year. I really think Philip Rivers is gonna have a big year. They got a lot of offensive weapons. The defense will get figured out. I didn't watch a lot of that Chief Charging game, so I'm not sure what happened there, but I just knew that Tyreek Hill had 30 points already, before the first half was over or whatever. But I think the Chargers rebound and they win the division, and I'm going to take the Chargers to be my AFC pick for the Super Bowl. All right, we'll see you Sunday night when the Giants play the Cowboys. There's going to be a lot more screaming in that one because I hate the Giants more than anything. So. there'll be a lot more nonsense when I watch that game. So, all right, we'll see you all on Sunday. We'll talk to you next week. All right, thanks, bye.